Welcome, everyone. I am Archie Wright, the Executive Director of the Catholic Biblical Association. I want to welcome you today to our author interview. Today, we have the privilege of talking with Mahri Leonard-Fleckman. She is the new Associate Professor of Hebrew Bible at Princeton Theological Seminary. Mahri previously taught at the College of the Holy Cross, Providence College, and also the University of Scranton. Mahri received her PhD and MPhil from New York University in Hebrew Bible and the Ancient Near East, and also has her MDiv from Union Theological Seminary in New York. Some of Mahri's previous publications include The House of David, Between Political Formation and Literary Revision by Fortress Press in 2016. She is co-author of the Book of Ruth in the Wisdom Commentary series by Liturgical Press in 2017, and co-editor of A Community of Peoples by Brill in 2022. Today, we're here to talk with her about her latest book, Scribal Representations and Social Landscapes of the Iron Age Shephelah, published by Oxford University Press in 2025. So welcome, Mahri. It's so good to have you here today.
Thanks, Archie. It's good to be here.
Great. So we're just going to give you three basic questions that will help the audience understand the basic themes and ideas behind your book. So the first one, if you just give the central theme of the book to our audience so they can understand what your ideas were in writing the book.
Sure. Yeah, the book really deals with the question of history and the limits of historical reconstruction. And I focus on the question of identity. So, how do we determine who is who or how to characterize people in the ancient world? And the Shephelah, this particular region, is the central focus of that question. So the Shephelah is called, it's literally the lowlands of ancient Israel. It's in the southwest area of ancient Israel. It curves down to the west of the Central Highlands, which is the area of Israel or Judah, and eventually connects with the coastal plain of the Mediterranean, which is like home of the so-called Philistines in the Iron Age or the First Temple period. And it's one of the most heavily excavated regions in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a really live question of how we classify people in the Iron Age in this time and place. So I explore the region focusing on biblical texts and also archaeological evidence. And my argument is really that ancient identity was complex and nuanced, and it belies the kinds of easy categories that we get in the biblical texts. And in the end, in some ways, the issue of who people really were has to remain unresolved. But I think
Mm.
most importantly, I propose that this irresolution, as I call it, or indeterminacy, is not necessarily a problem for historical investigation. As historians, as biblical scholars, we really like to have clear answers and strong arguments. But indeterminacy is itself a strong argument and an ethical argument when we use it with precision and rigor to clarify the limitations of our evidence and also to push back against the desire for some single meta-narrative about the past.
Mm. That's really good. Thank you, Mahri. So our second question, um, how does the book reflect on the history of scholarship in the respective field of your area of study here?
Thanks, Archie. The main reflection is on the field of historical research of the Hebrew Bible and ongoing debates about how we reconstruct the past using biblical texts, which are literary texts. They're curated texts. They're often written from much later perspectives that try to make sense of the past based on concerns of the present. So in the book, I enter into conversations with the history of scholarship, of historical research. And I also enter into an interdisciplinary conversation that includes archaeologists, historians outside of biblical studies, and that utilizes feminist, spatial, decolonizing approaches, and also more classical, historical, critical, biblical approaches.
Wow, that sounds like a vast amount of information coming out there. Looking forward to it. So our third question, um, how would the book be helpful to religious leaders or academics in the classroom?
This is a really good question. I will say just to start that it is a scholarly book and its primary audience is scholars and high level of lay readership. But I would say that for religious leaders or academics in the classroom, it's also a useful and relevant book in terms of thinking about gray areas and complexity and
Mm.
nuanced thinking in general. So today, at least in the public arena, there's a tendency to seek really easy, simplistic answers, to create two clear sides in which we often vilify the other or reduce the other to stereotypes rather than upholding the dignity and the complexity of the human person and seeing people as a mystery in the best sense of the word. This book is all about the practice of complex thinking about who people are and about close readings of texts that offer a variety of representations of ancient society. So it invites us to think about how what is unresolved can be a powerful tool, not just in scholarship, but also in life, in terms of the ability to hold open ongoing questions, to be measured and careful about our evaluations, including what's not fully known or clear. All of these things, I think, are a little bit countercultural to our world right now, and they're deeply needed.
Well, that sounds really exciting, Mari. We have a great opportunity next week as we do an unbound book review of this same book. And we look forward to having you back. And we invite our audience for this interview to come and join us next Wednesday, the 10th of September at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, to come and join us to hear you talk a little more deeply about your work and also to hear our panelists and also be a part of that uh, internet audience to join us for our Unbound book review here on CBA. So thanks, Mari, for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks
Thanks,
so
Mark.
much.